For the port, is it possible to use an existing port rather than building your own port, or do you have to build a terminal or a port?
Use your own port, and you can use your public port. Now about the public port, there are two types of the public port. The first is, it is actually not public port. It is a private port, but the owner of the private port, they have a dispensations to serve other companies. It depends, yeah. In terms of the infrastructure, I believe now Sulawesi is better compared to Halmahera. 5 years back, before the COVID, maybe Halmahera, they have better infrastructure, but now there are many foreign companies start investing money there.
You've shown the complexity
Yep.
of the subject, because that's our goal today, is to show the complexity of the subject, but also a lot of the solutions that are available and the legal background. Yeah? But we don't want to bore everyone with all the legal
Right.
details,
Yeah,
but we
yeah.
want to show the commercial
Yeah.
aspects. Welcome back, guys, to Deal Street Cafe. And here in the cafe today is my special guest, Pa Dendi, from a top Indonesian law firm, ADCO Law. And we've been following the soap opera story of a foreign company that's decided to do a smelter in Indonesia. So we've seen a lot of things, yeah, Dendi. Strange cryptids like the orang pendek, and we've seen
Bigfoot.
we've seen Bigfoot and the Batman, and
Yeah.
the local people. We've seen rival lawyers. A lot of problems, yeah. But I think all in all, I have good news for you that the project finally succeeded, and they are now producing.
Okay, happy to hear that.
Yeah. So we do have many happy clients at ADCO Law. So today, yeah, let's just sit back, I think,
Yeah.
this last episode, and let's do like an analysis of everything that happened. And I'd like to present to you a theory that the reason why everything is so complicated in the world, in the smelter world, is because of Article 33 in the Indonesian Constitution, which, as you know, stipulates that the water and the resources belong to the Indonesian people. And this is why you can't just walk in and take stuff and export it out.
Yeah.
So we call this maybe the policy reasoning, or the spirit of the law, right? This is why I think it's so sensitive. Do you agree?
Oh yeah, I totally agree with that, Chris, because it's not only in Indonesia, but in other countries, when it comes to the extractive industry. Extractive means that you taking something from the earth, you processing, and you sell it to the other countries. That's always not only economic perspective, but politic perspective, and also local wisdom perspective. And that's really the point why the extractive in Indonesia is complicated. And the other thing is about Indonesia, before the new mining law, 2009, mining commodity is a free commodity. Free commodity means you can export the commodity anywhere you want without any restrictions. But then after 2009, the new mining law, mining commodity becoming restricted commodity. You cannot export, or you can export, but these are the requirements. For coal, there is domestic market obligations. For minerals, there is local processing requirements. So you cannot export ore anymore to other countries. So you have to process it in Indonesia. And that's why it's a very complicated. Plus, all the minerals in Indonesia are located mostly in the forest area.
Yeah. Why is that? Yeah. Why is that?
I do not have the answer, but geologically speaking, yeah, that's the fact.
Yeah,
Most of the reserves are located in the forest area, and forest area, they have their own regulations. So you have to comply with the mining law and regulations, but on the other hand, you have to comply as well with the, in this case, with the forest law and regulations.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think the government, I understand the government, though, because they're pulled in many different directions.
Right.
They want to protect the rights of the people.
Yep.
But they also want downstreaming. They also,
Yeah.
you know, they have all these different objectives,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
They want to make profits. They want to feed the EV industry. But they also want, you know, they want downstreaming. So I think they have all different objectives, and sometimes the objectives are at cross purposes. You know, they're conflicting and all this. And this is maybe why, it's so the regulatory network, the regulatory framework is so complex. I think they need a good guide. So I think that's what this story. We've tried to show the complexity in our sort of storytelling way. We've tried to show the complexity of the smelter operation. You know, operations on the ground, the legal background. So in this final analysis, I think, Dendi, that a lot of it is like a logistics venture. You know, a logistics project. Because, you know, when you step back and look at it, because like you said, there's like integrated, non-integrated, but you're talking about a supply chain, especially when you have ports involved, you have to build roads and maybe dams, maybe bridges. For the port, is it possible to use an existing port rather than building your own port, or do you have to build a terminal or a port?
Yeah. So before commenting on the port requirements, that upstreaming mining activities is about the logistic. If you take a look at the cost components of the mining companies, maybe more than 50% are coming from the logistic costs. The coal getting itself, the mineral getting itself, taking out the mineral out of the ground, maybe it's just 30 or 40%. Rest are the logistic costs. So you write, when we talk about the upstream business, not the downstream, the upstream business, logistic plays quite significant roles. More than 50% costs are logistic costs. So now back to your questions about the port. Actually, you can use your own port and you can use your public port. Now about the public port, there are two types of the public port. The first is, it is actually not public port. It is a private port, but the owner of the private port, they have a dispensations to serve other companies. What we call it TUKS dengan untuk kepentingan umum. TUKS is the special port with the public interest. For the public port itself, definitely, if in your area there is an existing public port, it's easy for you. You don't have to spend money in investment. Your capital expenditure can be low because you don't have to build one, so you can use the existing port. But when you talk about the upstreaming, there's not so many existing available port. So whether you have to build your own, or you use the available specific private port, but with the public functions.
Yeah, I smile because I remember a story actually a long time ago. I haven't thought about it in a long time, but I met this crazy American guy who he found a thrust. He called it a nickel thrust deposit. So it was like nickel coming from the ground, but thrusting out. So you don't have to mine it. You can see it, this big thrust of nickel. So he wanted to put it in a truck and carry it to the port. And he with the licenses and stuff, it was very difficult. But the problem was the money. So he asked me, he said, can you find for me a trucking company that I can pay with chunks of nickel? Okay. So I said, I'm sorry, bro. I can help you with many things, but have you ever heard of a crazy story like that before?
You have to be careful, Chris. In mining industry, all activity must be with license.
Yes.
You want to trade, you have to get a license to trade mining commodity. You want to transport mining commodities, you have to have a specific license.
I think he was piggybacking on someone else's license. He had, the legal structure was not so solid. But the problem was that he had no money. So he had to find a trucking company that would transport the thrust nickel and then somehow cut off pieces and give the raw nickel to the driver. So I hear some crazy stories. But I don't think he succeeded. He could not do the deal. But
Yeah.
is it like, when you go there, is it like the Wild West, the cowboys and Indians, or is it very structured?
Oh, now you cannot do that way. Before the existence of MODI and MOMI is the public database for the mining activities. You can do what we call it is illegal mining, but you sell it to the legal miners.
Yeah.
You can do it that way. But now it's almost impossible to do that. So all the record must be immediately updated to the MODI and MOMI. There is verifications requirements from surveyor company. The surveyor company must be registered. They have to report all the activities, all the clients, all the customers along with the license. So it is almost impossible in these days to do that kind of practice.
Yeah, I'm wondering, for coal, if you try to steal coal, let's say I decide I want to steal some coal, so I get a backpack, I put some coal in it, it's not worth it, but people still do it, there are cases in Kalimantan where they have a boat, maybe as big as this table, and they will actually, but it's very deep, and they will take coal. But, if they will do that with coal, then nickel too, it must be possible.
I cannot say it is not there. I will get you to the Sungai Mahakam. There is a seafood restaurant in Sungai Mahakam, and you can see live that kind of things. It's a big vessel, and then a small vessel taking out the coal from the big vessel. So, but now it's a bit difficult. Time changes, and the existence of MODI and MOMI now just make that kind of activities almost impossible.
So it's very structured now, and you
Very
think
structured.
Okay.
Very structured. Even if you are foreigners, you want to verify whether a company is actually the concession holder or not, you can just get it from the publicly available data.
There's another area which is Halmahera. I think Halmahera, they also have some large nickel mines.
Nickel, right.
If you had a choice, this is a difficult question. I know. Just if you have an opinion, if you were an investor and you had a choice between Halmahera and Central Sulawesi, which one would you choose, Dendi?
It's a very tough question. In terms of the maturity of the mining companies, I think Halmahera is much more mature.
Oh, really?
Because big concession in Halmahera, and they've been there for decades. In Sulawesi, we still can find greenfield mining site.
Really? Okay.
It is not operated or operated with a small quantity. So it depends, In terms of the infrastructure, I believe now Sulawesi is better compared to Halmahera. 5 years back, before the COVID, maybe Halmahera, they have better infrastructure. But now, there are many foreign companies start investing money there, building the port, building industrial estate company. So I think in terms of the infrastructure, Sulawesi is better.
Yeah, so we're ending this series, and of course, it's a happy ending. But let's say that in the beginning, someone comes to you. Would you show them both sites? Would you show Halmahera and Sulawesi, or do they come to you with it's already cooked, already? Dendi, just make it happen, or do you help them? Do you hold their hand and do you help them? Make a choice.
I'm not a finder. I'm a lawyer, so usually a client comes to me with the definitive target company, and I assist them to verify, to do the due diligence, to find the risk over this potential project, and to advise and help the client to implement this project. So I am not the guy who offering a business opportunity to the client.
I see.
Yeah.
But as far as I know, Halmahera is very remote. Maybe it's cheaper to go to Frankfurt than to Halmahera, right? I tried to go to Papua before, and the ticket is more expensive than going to Frankfurt. So there is that to consider. I think Sulawesi, at least, there are areas, Makassar, Toraja, where are not so remote.
Yeah.
You know.
But Chris, in terms of the location of your investment, you cannot pick as per your will. You have to see first where is the reserve are located, and where is the nearest port, whether the infrastructure is available or not, whether the power supply is there or not.
True.
So you cannot pick the location of your investment only based on your personal preference. You cannot do that. It is a mining business. It's different. If you want to establish a shoes factory, you can make it everywhere. You can make it anywhere as per your personal preference.
Yeah.
But in mining, that is not the case. You have to determine based on the available utility supply, based on the infrastructure, based on the location, logistics, distance between the port and the site. So many technical things.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing your knowledge and
Sure.
your experience
Welcome.
and some great stories, some very interesting stories.
Welcome, Chris.
And I think you've shown the complexity
Yep.
of the subject, because that's our goal today, is to show the complexity of the subject, but also a lot of the solutions that are available and the legal background. Yeah? But we don't want to bore everyone with all the legal
Right.
details,
Yeah,
but we
yeah.
want to show the commercial
Yeah.
aspects.
Yeah.
If people have questions, can they contact you?
Oh,
And-
sure. Everyone, any clients, any potential companies who want to understand more about the industry of smelter, feel free to come to us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, guys, thanks a lot. This is the end of our series on smelters in Sulawesi. So thanks for sharing a coffee with us, and we hope that we spilled the beans on smelters in Sulawesi. And we'll see you next time at Deal Street Cafe. Thank you. I'm Chris Johnston, and this is Dendi Adisuryo saying thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Thank you. Bye-bye.